Is time a boundless river flowing in one direction, or is it a vast ocean waiting for us to dive in and explore its depths? In the heart of Mystic Falls, a couple was about to find out. In the quaint and charming town of Mystic Falls dwelled a couple, Bella Cullen and Edward Swan. Their life was as ordinary as it could be, with Edward imparting lessons of history to young minds and Bella, engrossed in her world of theories and theorems, working diligently on her PhD. Their shared passion for their professions made them a unique pair, but underneath the surface of their seemingly perfect life, there was a void that no amount of professional success could fill. Their hearts yearned for the laughter and joy of a child, yet complications had rendered them childless. Bella, however, had an extraordinary mind. She was not one to succumb to despair, and so she channeled her energy into her research. Her topic of interest was nothing short of fascinating: the concept of time travel. She spent countless hours poring over scientific formulas and articles, dissecting theories and scrutinizing every piece of evidence she could get her hands on. Her dedication was unwavering, her curiosity insatiable. While many dismissed the notion of time travel as mere fantasy, Bella was a seeker of truth. She was determined to uncover the mysteries that lay shrouded in the folds of time. Her pursuit of knowledge led her to George Saltzman, a scientist who had dared to tread on the path less traveled. He was one of the few who believed in the possibility of time travel and had dedicated his life to this pursuit. Bella was eager to learn from him, to understand the intricacies of time travel and to delve into the truths that George had discovered. Bella's research took a turn when she met George Saltzman, a scientist who dared to prove that time travel was not just a figment of imagination, but a reality. The town of Mystic Falls was about to witness a journey beyond the constraints of time, a journey that would challenge the very fabric of reality. The idea of time travel was both thrilling and terrifying. Bella was about to understand why. As she sat across from George Saltzman, a renowned scientist revered for his work on the concept of time travel, Bella was filled with anticipation. She had spent countless nights poring over his published articles, theories, and mathematical equations, but this was different. She was about to get first-hand information from the man himself. George began by explaining the fascinating intricacies of time travel. Like an artist painting on a blank canvas, he painted a vivid picture of the potential wonders of this mind-bending concept. Imagine, he said, being able to witness the dawn of civilization or the future of humankind. But as he continued, the tone of his narrative shifted. The exciting prospect of time travel was not without its serious repercussions. George warned Bella about the numerous risks associated with time travel. The most terrifying, he explained, was the end of time. Even a minor error in setting the time, date, or location could lead to a catastrophic outcome. The travelers could find themselves trapped in an unknown place or time with no way back. This was a chilling prospect that sent shivers down Bella's spine. Bella left the interview with her head spinning. The dream of time travel, which once seemed thrilling, was now tainted with the harsh realities George had laid out. The potential to change history, to witness the unseen, was paired with the fear of being lost in time forever. Yet despite the fear, Bella couldn't shake off the idea of time travel. She saw in it a glimmer of hope, a chance to undo a past mistake. It was a dangerous proposition, but the potential reward was too great to ignore. The thought of time travel was now embedded in Bella's mind, but with it came a dangerous proposition. In an unexpected turn of events, tragedy struck the peaceful life of Edward and Bella. Their son Jack, a spirited 15-year-old boy, felt stifled by the protective nature of his parents. His world was confined to the four walls of their home in Mystic Falls, his life revolving around obeying his parents and immersing himself in his studies. The lack of space and freedom led to a sense of isolation, and Jack yearned for an escape from the constant surveillance. One fateful night, Jack decided to break free from the shackles of his life. He penned a heartfelt letter pouring out his feelings of anxiety and depression, his frustrations about his overprotective parents, and his desire to start anew. With a heavy heart and a bag full of hopes, he attempted to slip away into the darkness, away from the life he knew. But fate had a cruel twist in store. As Jack hurriedly crossed the road, his focus solely on escaping, a speeding truck bore down on him. Bella, having noticed her son's absence, had just stepped out of the house, only to witness the horrifying scene unfold in front of her eyes. Despite her desperate cries, she could not prevent the inevitable. Jack was hit, thrown far away, and in that heart-wrenching moment his life was cruelly snuffed out. The days following were a blur of grief and guilt. The funeral, the rituals, everything seemed surreal. It was only when they found Jack's goodbye letter, his words echoing his despair and loneliness, that the magnitude of their loss truly hit them. They were left with a void in their lives, a chasm that seemed impossible to fill. The loss of their child left Edward and Bella with a gaping hole in their hearts and a letter that would change everything. Their world had turned upside down, and they were left grappling with the harsh reality of their loss and a haunting question. Could they have done things differently? Little did they know their lives were about to take an extraordinary turn. Grief can lead us to the edge of despair, or it can push us to do the unthinkable. In the heart of Mystic Falls, Edward Swan and Bella Cullen found themselves standing on that precipice. Their world had crumbled into ashes with the tragic loss of their young son, Jack. A vibrant life cut short in an accident left behind a void that seemed impossible to fill. But Bella, with her knowledge of time travel, saw a glimmer of possibility, a chance to rewrite the past, to right the wrongs, to breathe life back into their lost child. This wasn't just a research project anymore, it was a lifeline, a desperate grasp at the second chance they never thought they would have. The decision wasn't easy. Time travel was riddled with risks and uncertainties. A single error could lead them to the end of time, a place of no return. But the alternative was living with the pain of loss, a pain that was far too great to bear. And so they made the choice. The choice to face the unknown, to challenge the laws of nature, to time travel. Their next step was to contact George Saltzman, the scientist whose insights Bella had gathered during her research. George was a pioneer in the field, a man who had dedicated his life to unraveling the mysteries of time. He was their only hope. With a heavy heart, Bella dialed his number, her voice trembling as she explained their predicament. There was a long pause. Then, to their relief, George agreed. He was willing to help them navigate through the treacherous waters of time. Soon their home was filled with strange machines, humming with an energy that was both frightening and exciting. As they donned their suits, they could feel the weight of their decision. They were about to step into the unknown, to challenge the boundaries of reality. With the machine ready and their hearts pounding, Edward and Bella were about to embark on a journey beyond time. In the blink of an eye, Edward and Bella were back in time with a mission to change their child's fate. The air was charged with a sense of urgency as they found themselves standing on the same familiar street, the lights of their house casting long shadows. The past and present collided as they saw their 15-year-old son Jack bolting out of the house with a bag slung over his shoulder. The memory of what was about to transpire was etched vividly in their minds, sending a chill down their spines, yet they stood their ground, their resolve unwavering. As Jack dashed towards the road, Edward and Bella sprang into action, their hearts pounded in their chests, echoing the ticking seconds that stood between their son and the impending doom. With adrenaline coursing through their veins, they sprinted towards Jack, their every instinct screaming at them to reach him in time. And then, in a heart-stopping moment, they did. Edward and Bella yanked Jack back just as the truck barreled past, missing him by mere inches. The relief that washed over them was overwhelming, their hearts heavy with the weight of the tragedy they had averted. But they had no time to linger. The world around them started to shimmer, signaling the end of their journey. Their time was up. With one last look at their bewildered son, they were whisked away, leaving behind the past they had successfully altered. Suddenly, they were back in the machine, back in their own time. The room was filled with a silence that echoed the enormity of what they had just accomplished. George, the scientist, looked at them with a curious mix of awe and apprehension. Edward and Bella exchanged a glance, their eyes reflecting a sense of triumph and disbelief. They had done it. They had journeyed through the vortex of time, defied the laws of nature, and rewritten their destiny. As they sat in the machine back in their own time, they realized they had achieved the impossible. They had traveled through time and changed the course of their lives forever.